Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Questions to ask your Filipina after marriage. I've done live streams about questions to ask a Filipina online where you are searching for someone to focus on, just initial things to ask, and about what to talk about to gauge your compatibility. Also done a video about questions to ask her to see if you should propose to her and things get more serious. The questions become a little more intense as the relationship develops. Today, let's talk about questions to ask your Filipino wife after you've been married for a while, although some of them can apply to dating. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea and get notifications for upcoming videos. And I'm going to share with you things I'm learning about a relationship with a Filipina from my own experience. Check it out and see if you could see yourself with a Filipina someday, or maybe you already are. Want to make marriage great again? So much of what I talk about concerns marriage, the best life, I think, for most people. I want to go beyond the superficial to the uncomfortable, so you can be best prepared to have a lifelong marriage to a Filipina, a woman from the Philippines like I married, or any woman from anywhere. You may have to go where you're wanted. You may not, but there are options all over the world. These questions are also listed for your convenience on lvbts.com for all of the video topics on questions to ask. So once you're married, of course, you'll already know a bit more about each other, but there are things that you can continue to learn about her. I believe Filipinas make great wives, and I want to help foreigners and Filipinas over here on Love Beyond the Sea. Let's start with this one. What's something you always wanted to do as a child but never got to do? Or if you could have one superpower, what would it be? My wife would probably say to be able to make me not talk so much for her superpower. Now, this is a simple question, but could tell you much about her values. What is one of your dreams that I can help you achieve? Very appropriate, because if you are married, you are in a position to help her fulfill her dreams within reason. She can confide her dreams in you. If you're able to help her with the dreams, this will only help help your marriage. Now, I haven't really asked my wife a lot of these questions or what her dreams are. I have told her, though, that I want to help make her dreams come true. She had said that she wanted to build a really nice dream house for her mother and father, so we did that, helped her do that with building a home for us to retire in also and stay there. Some of her family is living there right now. Very pleased about that. In typical Filipina fashion, my wife puts her family above herself. Now, you could also ask, what makes you feel overwhelmed? A bit of a personal question there, but appropriate for someone that you should help as your wife when they are overwhelmed. Being married over at almost 6 years now, I have learned what bothers my wife. It feels good to be able to help her, but I need to listen first. What would be the hardest to give up, coffee or chocolate? That's not fair. Why do we have to give up either one? You know, there's these coffee candies they make in the Philippines that you can help if you have to give up both of those things, I suppose. That would be a tough question. You could ask her, what is your best memory of our dating years? Now, we got married so fast, just 54 days from across the world, so that could be a hard one for us to answer. I suppose I could say meeting her at the airport in Manila after leaving the country for the first time, about a day and a half, 4 flights, losing my luggage, all of that. Perhaps meeting her family. The whole situation was surreal to me, but I made the right decision. Maybe I would talk about doing these, webcams with her that we were doing twice a day and many hours on weekends to help get to know each other. You could ask, what could I do to make you feel more respected? And this goes both ways, wife to husband, husband to wife. Now, this is definitely a question for after marriage. I would need to ask her if she feels disrespected in any way by anyone. Now, I can stick up for her in public, and I certainly do, and I definitely need to be treating her with respect at home, privately. My wife, she prefers to handle conflicts with others on her own, but I offer all the support I can. And one thing I can do to help my wife feel respected is to talk about her very well to others and to compliment her as much as possible. How about this one? If you could bring one fictional character to life, who would this fictional character be and why? You could ask, how can I demonstrate my love for you in different ways? This is an unusual question. She'd probably have to think about how to answer. Now, I am more upfront with my wife with my comments about what I need to feel loved, at least what my needs are in marriage. You know, it just basically comes down to sex, companionship, and touch. Sex and companionship. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm struggling with that word. And touch. A man can't assume he will be able to easily figure it out. And a Filipina might be hesitant or shy to tell you how you can love her in different ways, and you might be surprised by what she says. Here's a good question. What can I do to encourage and support you better? I believe this is an after marriage question, because only someone that can be with her consistently for a long time is able to give her all the encouragement and support that she needs. Let's say she's having trouble with being away from the Philippines. What could you do to encourage her and support her? You know, and that's a good question to ask her, because homesickness is probably going to happen. And I have made video on homesickness. It would be good to check that out. You could ask her, if you could master one musical instrument, what would it be? Another question I don't know the answer to, because I've never asked my wife. You could say, how do you like to be kissed? Don't be bashful here. This goes for everything, as communication is a very big part of being intimate with your wife. Another question, what is it one thing I can do to show you how much I love you? Hopefully she won't say something unrealistic, like how about a vacation to 20 countries, in one trip. She'll likely say something basic and simple, like, maybe be a better listener, or spend more time with me, or allow me to spend more time with my family on social media. And you could respond to her answer by asking her why that would be important to her, and learn more about her. What is one bad habit you need to break, but you don't want to? You probably already are aware what that is. You could also ask, if you could change your age forever, what age would you choose and why? My wife is only 32, so she doesn't have an advantage of knowing what it's like to be older. If she wanted to know this about me, and let's say, I might say 40. Reason is, at that age, a man still has some vigor, some vitality, mental clarity, a desire to go do things, learn things, and still do it at a high level. But he has also learned, hopefully, a lot of life lessons by then. And before then, you have ambition and abilities and potential, but often you don't make the best decisions because you don't have the experience and the wisdom yet. When older, you can look back on what worked and what didn't in your life and make adjustments for hopefully some good years or decades left. Please comment if you thought about this before, and let me know how you would answer something like that. What would be your perfect age if you could kind of just stay there? Now, another question, what did your parents teach you that you appreciate now? I like this one. Your Filipino wife surely has picked up some things from her parents. My reply would be to work hard, to work well, and give it your best. You could ask, what is your guilty pleasure? And describe to me your ideal day. Do you know what her ideal day would be? What is your favorite movie of all time? My wife might say a fairy tale or a love story. I know she likes Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. Me personally, I'd probably go with the first Indiana Jones. What are ways I can make you feel safe? How can I make you feel loved and respected are one thing, and feeling safe is another. There are physical and emotional ways that she wants to be made to feel safe. Home security is one thing, but on a deeper level, there are some things she might tell you. Also, how can I show you that I am listening to you? Fair question. My wife and I have talked about putting our phones away at meals. There certainly are more distractions these days. And what achievement in my life would bring you great joy? Very interesting one. If either one of you has been attentive to the other, you might be able to answer this the same way they would, but this one isn't asked very often. Would bring you great joy is a loaded question. It is asking about something future tense involving something that is assumed would give great joy to the husband too. Something that she believes would bring her also, not just joy, but great joy. This is another way, this could be another way of asking, what is something I could achieve that would give you great joy? but it's not quite the same thing. Achievement in my life would imply an initiative on my part to accomplish it, wouldn't it? So I take this question to mean to be asking your wife about a future endeavor you are undertaking that would bring your Filipino wife great joy. In other words, looking for an unselfish response. That's different from saying, what would you prefer I try to accomplish that would bring you great joy? You could say, who is someone that inspires you? What was the moment when you laughed harder than you've ever laughed before? What can I do to make you feel more confident in our future? What are some ways I can help you around the house? This question is just too serious in nature. I don't think it should ever be asked. Just kidding. You always have to help around the house. How often would you like to go out on a date night? Have you asked that, or do you assume the answer? What is your favorite thing about yourself? Talk about being put on the spot. What mutual goal would you like to see us accomplish? Mutual goal, another good one. I need to ask this. She might respond with someplace to go on vacation, to working on some aspect of our marriage. What is something you would like us to do to invest in our marriage this year? Her answer will need to involve your input, even though it is asked of the wife. It would involve a joint action, something healthy for the relationship. And this video will be the final one in the playlist about questions to ask in dating and marital relationships with a Filipina. And this should equip you with enough to get started to know a Filipina online and now after marriage. I hope many of these questions are ones that you haven't asked yet or even thought of, because then there is great potential to help you decide which Filipina to pursue, to marry, and to know better after marriage. This series has shown me that I have a lot to learn about my own love beyond the sea.